I'm Sonny Liston, I'm Jack Dempsey, there's no one like me. I'm from Naircross. There's no one that can match me. My style is impetuous, my defense is impregnable. And I'm just ferocious, I want your heart, I want to eat his children. I was gonna rip his heart out, I'm the best ever.
And we are back. Episode 91. What? 91, that was the year Michael Jordan won his first championship, right?
He won his first championship. He was crying, a lot of tears,
Lots of champagne.
a lot of shit. Oh, you know what? I'm mainly champagne. I'm thinking of 93. Is it 93?
I think.
What was the year where he came back?
96, when his dad died, right?
Yeah, that's the one where he was crying because his dad died.
On Father's Day. He won the title on Father's Day.
Oh, my God. How emotional. If that happened today, I mean.
Oh, man.
The internet would just go crazy. The internet wouldn't know how to understand. They wouldn't know how to, respond to something that great happening.
It's like Tom Brady winning the Super Bowl the same year Trump was elected.
Yeah, not a coincidence. I'm just going to say that. Not a coincidence. Not a coincidence.
But yeah, we're back. Episode 91. This is the Boxed Out Podcast. Mo
Exclusive.
Here. And Miguel.
Drama King.
Anyway, all the good stuff. Because I haven't mentioned this in a while, but follow us on Twitter.
Yeah, look, we got enough followers. You know what?
We're still struggling to get to 1,000 followers. Let's make something happen, goddamn it.
It's because we curate our followers. Sometimes we get followers and we just block them. We just kick them out. It's like, you're not good enough to be our follower.
That's very true. I do review resumes before I follow.
Yes, that's right.
That's true.
All right.
But anyway, the real story while we're here is because there is a big time matchup this weekend.
Yeah, but we got to get to it. Let's get to it.
But last weekend there was a grand finale, which we previewed.
I wish I could play the Taps music that played for Chocolatito a couple months back, man. Because
it did not end as dramatically and emphatically. But yeah, let's get to it. Miguel Cotto drops a unanimous decision to Saddam Ali in Madison Square Garden in the final fight of his career, which ultimately leaves his record to 41-6. And Cotto, what I like about Cotto in his career, no draws, baby. No draws. It's either you win or you lose. So what are your thoughts on the fight? Let's let you start off this.
This is a classic. A classic, I would have known that would happen. But people like to say after the fight, hindsight is 20/20.
Yes.
Just because
you feel this way.
Yeah, just because. Well, in the decision, it was like, if Saddam Ali was going to win, what would be the scenario? And that scenario kind of played itself out, and it got double impacted by the fact that, when Cotto was planning to make his move, I mean, he tore his bicep, so that pretty much put the kibosh on everything. And in true Cotto fashion, still finished the fight 12 rounds, with a torn bicep. It's pretty amazing.
Well, six rounds with the torn bicep.
Yeah. But you got to think
the first 6 rounds being 37 years old.
Those first 6 rounds, though, that bicep is slowly. It's like, your hand on the edge of a mountain. The fingers are peeling back. It's just slowly holding on. And Cotto's like, "What's going on with my arm, man? This is not feeling right." And then, just death.
Cliffhanger. Wasn't that a movie with
Sylvester Stallone?
What movie was
Yes.
Yes, Cliffhanger.
Movie, Sylvester Stallone.
It was a cliffhanger. Yes.
So yeah, I mean, this is So I mean, great effort by Cotto. Even especially after the injury was revealed, and you can see it in the interview afterwards when he's talking to Max. You can see his arm, and great effort. But great effort by Saddam Ali. But I would say the one thing that bothered me though was it felt like Cotto. The game plan was kind of, let's wait until the mid rounds and take him into deep waters. And when you find a guy that's younger, and as this your last fight and there's so much emotion, I'd like to see a more concerted game plan, like from the jump, because on an emotional night like that, and everybody's basically rooting for Cotto, I felt like if he would have just blitzed them all out the first few rounds, just all effort, I don't know if Saddam Ali makes it through that fire. And I thought it was just a dumb move, just to kind of, I don't know, just kind of wait and then start making your turn mid-round, because like by that time, the worst thing that could happen for Cotto basically is Saddam Ali having confidence. And by that time, he has confidence that he can fight with you.
Right. And that's an interesting point that you brought up. I'm not necessarily sure if that was indeed the game plan or that's just how things unfolded. But yeah, I thought it would have been smart to really put the pressure on Ali because essentially this is Saddam Ali's Super Bowl. This is a big pressure spot. There was at least 12 to 14,000 people in attendance, I believe. And like you said, everybody was cheering for Cotto. So I think if Cotto would have got started in a better fashion, the crowd would have got more into it and more of the pressure. And Ali would have realized, like, wow, I'm in with the legend. I'm in the big leagues. This is the biggest fight of my career. But instead, he got in there and he got confident, like, hey, I'm just as good as this guy. And then once you give a young guy that type of confidence, it's kind of hard to slow him down,
You got to capitalize on that that moment that guys have when they're in the big stage for the first time, and they because it takes a little bit to get used to, but by then you should be winning. You should be winning. That was a very smart thing that Floyd always did because he was so used to being in those big spots. So he'd fight these guys who weren't used to being in these big spots, and it would take him a while just to get used to. Oh shit, I'm on pay-per-view, But in the meanwhile, Floyd's racked up all these rounds and the fight is over. And I think if Cotto had taken that approach, even with the injury, he could have hung on to get a split decision or maybe a controversial win. But the way it stood,
because he started,
yeah, go on.
He started off in a blazing fashion when he fought Martinez, and that was kind of like a new stage for Sergio as well.
A similar effort would have ended this fight sooner and got Cotto the W. But yeah, it's just. Once Saddam Ali got his feet under him and got in a good rhythm, and then you factor in the injury, it's like, man, this is it. You basically need a knockout. And I even text you like, I was just hoping the judges would do the right thing, which is sad, but yeah.
Right. Another thing to point out too is that say he didn't get off to that good start, but a reason was that Saddam Ali had. He was just a quicker, fresher fighter, and I think that was very evident early. Remember, in the lead up to this fight, I told you what Ali said. He said, I'm going to fight smart. I'm going to box. I'm going to use my movement. And I thought this fight was a stark contrast into the fight that Cotto just had, 3 months ago against Kamagai, where Kamagai was coming to Cotto, where Cotto could just paint his picture and move on, just do his artwork, move out, get out of there, reset, start over. Where against Saddam Ali, Cotto had to find him. He had to chase him. He had to harken back to the Predator, Miguel Cotto, before he moved up to welterweight, where he had to try to track him, track Ali down. And, Ali was just a little bit faster. They kind of.
That ring felt really big, too. I don't know if Cotto was that slow, but that felt like a big ass ring. They should have gave Cotto a smaller ring.
And Cotto, Cotto's actually
give one of those triple G rings, man. You can't go anywhere.
Cotto's actually pretty fast.
Yeah, that's why
even for 37 years old. But he kind of fought like, I don't want to say Ali is a younger version of Cotto, which he's not, but he's just as bouncy on his legs. He's got the, he can counter.
Ali fought. Okay, all right. Fast. Saddam Ali fought. I got it. Saddam Ali fought like the best version of this old version of Miguel Cotto, who's bouncing around and moving a lot.
Right.
And Cotto couldn't deal. Cotto couldn't deal with the best reincarnation of himself in this later stage of his career. If you can wrap your mind around that.
This is very fucking deep and mind blowing. I think I'm gonna have a brain aneurysm. But Ali, he just seemed to beat Cotto to the punch, And here's the thing, like you said, I think it was a perfect storm. I think Ali fought the best fight he could fight. Cotto was, about where he was supposed to be. Because I think they thought this was going to be an easier fight for sure, but it ended up being like the appropriate level to match Cotto with. Because imagine if he was in there with, a legitimate 154
Yeah, that was the
pounder.
thing. The first, around the fifth or sixth round, I was like, man, all you motherfuckers on the internet, talking about this fight is a joke. Man, at least I don't got to see Cotto get killed. You put him in there with, who are they talking about? With fucking
Earl Spence.
Earl Spence was like, We're talking
Well,
about a
you know,
real
those guys
obituary right now.
Yeah, Spencer's a bigger guy, but yeah, that was another thing that stuck out to me. But you know, in true Miguel Cotto fashion, because you know because he lost, but you know he's lost fights before. I think he kind of showed why the fans will love him and why they remember him. And even though he had these bit of diva moments where he kind of took control of his own career towards the end, which I don't blame because honestly, including this fight, Cotto took a lot of damage.
Yeah.
You know, and he sacrificed his body for the sport of boxing.
Should have maybe picked an easier fight for this one. Maybe a Liam Smith.
See, that's the thing. Yeah, you know, yeah. And Liam Smith was
see,
calling them out. But now
you gave me shit about this. Well, yeah, now, yeah. You gave me shit about this, but I told you
they don't call him beefy for no reason.
All right. You know what? That's a different podcast. That's a different genre. You need to calm down. Now, you gave me shit about this, but I told you this shit needs to be a layup. Cotto has been in Cotto should have fought like some guy he was sparring with in the gym, man. Like just go out with an easy ass win, look great.
I don't
Everybody's
know
happy. What
if this was
why
Cotto
even fight
Kamagai too?
Yeah, I don't even know if he wins that fight, Cotto Kamagai. I'm just saying, you've done everything. There's no point. There's no fight after this. So just take the layup of layups. Just find the easiest fight you could win, and I think go with that.
I think that they were aiming to do that, and that's why they brought up a guy from welterweight. But
they didn't. Yeah. Who was it? Gomez, right? Make a war at Make a War. He fucked up on this one.
At Make a Loss at the end of your career. That's what his Twitter handle should be. Okay, so that brings up another interesting point that I kind of forgot about over the course of the week, but I want to bring this up and ask you. So did Miguel Cotto make the correct decision signing with Golden Boy for his last two fights? Because it was a 2-fight deal, right?
Right.
So I don't know how much. Do you know how much he got for the Kamagai fight?
I don't know. I would assume at least $1 million.
Okay, so say he got that, right? But and I guess this really isn't. Well, maybe it is De La Hoya's fault or the promoter's fault.
No, he didn't make the right decision. I'll answer your question because these two fights he made, he could have made those his damn self. You need Golden Boy for that shit. Yes, that's very true. But the main point I want to make was that Cotto's comeback or his signing, you know, the first fight under Golden Boy was the same night as McGregor versus Mayweather. And it still did pretty good ratings, but it went underneath the radar, you would say, right? I mean, I even watched this fight after that fight. Shamefully, I'm so sorry, Miguel Cotto. I watched it live because I'm not a casual like you.
And the second fight, he fought Saddam Ali, and he only made $750,000 for this fight. Now, you know, I don't want to get into the wallets of fighters and stuff like that, but for those to be the last two fights of Miguel's career, I think like you're saying, I don't know if he even needed.
I think the money is second to just the opponent. And there's no disrespect to Kamagai or Ali, but he could have made those fights on his own. You didn't need a promoter to do that. You can just go out and make 1-fight deals with those guys or that level of guys. So yeah, I thought it was
right.
A waste.
And by no means am I downplaying $750,000.
Yes,
because you know. I would probably fight somebody for $20, but
no, you wouldn't.
For Miguel,
fight?
I would.
No, you would not get in a fight for $20. That's ridiculous.
No,
come on,
that would only cover my copay, you know. But anyway,
yeah, because you're gonna have to go to the hospital after a fight. I mean, because fights get dirty, guys will scratch you or bite you. Like, what does this guy have? I don't know. I got to go get tested. That's expensive, man. You got to take off from work.
I think I'm late on my immunization shots anyway. But
20 doesn't cover all that. The gas to get to the hospital. Come on.
That's true. That's and time. The time that you spend in urgent care or emergency.
Yes.
But okay, so the point I'm getting to here is that this last fight wasn't even. I mean, it was necessary because it was the last one. But I mean, Cotto didn't need that $750,000, you know, to end in a loss and a torn biceps. You know, that was just
that's the worst part too. Is like he's retired, right? But he has to go have surgery, or he already has surgery, and then you have to rehab after, especially
the worst part about it is, you know, Miguel Cotto, he says he's going to spend more time, so I'm pretty sure one of his duties is to wash the dishes, and how's he going to wash the dishes with a torn bicep?
Well, Miguel Cotto's a rich man, so you just put that shit in the dishwasher. All right, I'm sure he got a top of the art, state of the line dishwasher.
Okay, so what's your like lasting memory of Cotto? Or I mean, we kind of did this the previous
Yeah, we
episode.
did this.
But
I don't want to do this again. We did this. All right, go listen to what is this, 91? Go listen to 90. Who won the championship that year? The Detroit Pistons. Go
90,
listen to that one.
yeah, the Pistons.
Yeah, back to back.
Yeah, no, but I think this was definitely a classic example of Cotto showing his toughness and his durability, because he was rocked several times. And I also do want to give a shout out to, because a lot of people have mentioned this too, and I would like to as well, Andre Rozier, who's having an excellent year. He coached up Danny Jacobs in the fight of his life. And he was really, actually, I think he kind of helped turn this fight around, because when Cotto was turning the tide and started digging his hooks to the body and he rocked Ali a little bit, it was Rozier that emphasized to Ali that, hey, you need to put it on this guy. He can't take your punches. You need to up the attack. And what really changed the fight, along with the injury, was Ali started letting his hands go a little bit more and kind of backing Cotto up. And he also went to the body a few times, which tired the older Miguel Cotto. So shout out to Andre Rozier. And shout out to Saddam Ali, who is now a 154-pound champion. And my advice is, I saw Charlo lurking on Twitter. Drop that belt, man.
Stay away from Charlo. Take somebody else.
What supersedes a lion in the jungle?
Shit. You need a machine gun. Okay. That's what you need to go get. Go buy a machine
lions
gun.
only, man.
Lions only.
Is he okay?
Yeah, exactly. All right. Can we gotta wrap up?
All right.
So we gotta touch on the fight of the year, baby. The most decorated, two of the most decorated amateurs of all time will step in the ring against each other.
Yes, and that will be Saturday, December 9th. And this fight's in New York too, I believe. It's going to be between Vasily Lomachenko.
You get the name right.
And Rigondeaux. How do you say it? I hear it so many different ways. Guillermo Rigondeaux.
I say it, Rigo the King, baby. That's what I say.
Rigo.
I don't even bother. Just Rigo.
Okay, so what's your thought on this fight? Will this be the beginning of a hashtag Rigolution?
No, because I mean, as much as I love Rigo and Lara, and partly just to troll you, because you're a casual. You don't
Lara's really the guy that bothers me, because the guy Rigo he'll stand there and crack.
My issue with people who have issue with Lara is that he has a world title. If he's such a, just go get the world title off him, you never have to see him on TV again.
I wish somebody would do it.
Yeah, but nobody can do it. That's the whole point.
Saddam Ali, handle that, please. Come on.
All right. But on Rigo, so I'm thinking about this fight, and on paper, just the accolades and the accomplishments of both guys they're amazing, right? These are, I said, two of the most decorated amateurs ever, and they're going to fight each other.
Over 400 wins in amateurs, and Lomachenko is like at 396 and with only one loss. So yeah,
the problem is, just the size and age. Literally, the problem is tell of the tape. Lomachenko's younger, he's bigger, he's faster. The only stronger. The only life raft that I saw for Rigo out on the open seas.
He's more athletic.
I wouldn't even say that. I think Loma's more athletic. Or were you saying Loma's more athletic?
Yeah, Loma's more athletic. Yeah.
Yeah. So I would say the only life raft that Rigo has is that he has the longer reach, because he has unusually long arms for a guy his size. That's the only. Because it's just, maybe if they fought around the same weight division, but I know this is only like one weight division gap between the two.
No, well, he's really at his best at 122 pounds.
Yeah, so it's and this fight is at 130, right?
Yes, so he's going up two divisions. He's passing 126, going up to 130, and Loma's even talking about after this fight going up to 135. So
Loma needs to be at like 140, man. I think he can do it. But all right, so the only thing I'll say is that there's at some point where size is too much, right?
Right.
When you're comparing two fighters, one moving up, but then when you throw in a factor, a fighter of Loma's level, then it's really too much, because it's there's no way you can beat this guy.
Yeah, because they say a great little man beats a good big man, but
But this is a great little man
versus, like,
against a
great-
fucking super great, bigger guy, basically, when you're comparing these two. So, yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
and just
that's the buzzkill of this fight, basically.
to put this in perspective, Lomachenko won. I mean, Rigondeaux won his gold medal in 2000, 2004, and then Loma took the reins over for amateur boxing and won it in 2008 and 2012. So that's 12 years of amateur dominance.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I know this is not the pros and anything. Okay, but here's another thing that I'm not sure if you were even aware of this, but there is a rehydration clause. So
Yeah, that
Lomachenko can't go back. He can weigh in over, I don't know if it's 135 or 140 or something like that. It's like a few pounds. So I think in that case, that might help Lomachenko out a little bit. I mean, Rigondeaux out a little bit, right?
All right, so now we got two life rafts. We got the reach and we got this rehydration clause. So he's out there. The ship has sunk, but he has some life rafts out there. But I don't even think
seem
that's
like a guy that would even blow up in weight like that.
he's not a guy who blows up. He reminds me of like Floyd's always in shape or when he fought, and he reminds me of that kind of guy. It's like that's not even going to be an issue. So I don't see. All right, let's try to. Because everybody's just going to pick Loma to win. But let's try to paint a picture. Let's play devil's advocate and try to paint a scenario of what Rigo would have to do to win.
Okay. All right. Do you want me to start?
You can start. You can go ahead. I'll pass you the paintbrush. Go ahead.
He will have to. No. Okay. Let's be serious here. I was going to make a joke.
No, don't. Serious,
I was going to say that
talk.
if just get the whoever's operating the
Max, this is serious business.
Arena.
This is box.
The arena to start. Just play the Rigondeaux Agbeko fight. It'll distract Loma. He'll fall asleep.
And we'll win by knockout. Yeah.
Yes. No, but honestly, realistically, and it would have to be where Rigondeaux thrives, and that's at keeping the right amount of distance between him and his opponent. Using his jab. One thing about Rigo is that he always to kind of keep you occupied and using it to help him maneuver and get around the ring. And Rigondeaux has excellent feet. I mean, the way he can dip, twist, and pivot, and there's no he doesn't really telegraph his punches. I mean, everything about him is, I don't know. To me, I feel like Rigo, when he fights, when he's at his best, he fights like in this. There's like when you play a video game and there's that little cursor around you, like that little circle around you. Yeah. He all of his movements are within that confined space, and it makes him very accurate and precise and to the point. So I think he just needs to establish his range and use his movement.
All right. So movement and okay. What else?
Well,
now remember, we're painting the picture for him to win. So whatever negative thing you're about to say, strike that from the record.
Yeah, see, that's the thing, though. His great footwork, I mean, you could argue Lomachenko's got just as, and his footwork is even more dynamic. So,
I mean, I will have to say just one of the generic things when the small guy fights a bigger guy always is if he wants any chance of winning the fight, he needs to not hurt, but land some punches early in the.
Get his respect.
And when I say early, see people always like not third, fourth round, no, first round. He needs to pop him with some good fucking shots that aren't in the game.
Or good jabs.
Good jabs, just even through the guard, or even on the hip, or just some hard shit to be like, no, you can't walk through. Like walking through me is off the table basically, unless you're ready to endure some serious punishment. So that's, dream scenario for him. That'd be one. That's the first thing he needs to do. The second thing is, like you said, his footwork. He needs to keep Loma from angles and turning him, because that's Loma's game, yeah, because he turns you and he comes at you from all angles. Rigo needs to neutralize that and keep him in front of him with the jab, primarily, I would think, and then just keep him in front of him, because that'll cut out all the turnings and all the getting hit from different angles and all that extra shit, and kind of keep him in the pocket.
Another thing to note is that Lomachenko has stopped his last 6 opponents.
Yeah, and he stopped those. How does he stop those last 6 opponents? Really, by just
He's
kind of
overwhelming them.
accumulation. Yeah, just overwhelming, and I
Except
think
Rocky
that's what.
Martinez, where he
Yeah, it's
destroyed
true.
him.
Obviously. Um. Yeah. So, but I mean, even with that said, best case scenario for Rigo. I mean, we're all picking Loma, right? I mean,
Yeah,
I would love to get I would love to get a competitive fight, but I don't even know. I don't know if
no,
we're gonna get that. I don't know.
I,
Maybe I'm being too
you know what?
disrespectful to Rigo.
I honestly, yeah, I think you are being a little bit disrespectful to Rigondeaux, because this is kind of like this is a good, not a good matchup, but the style where where Lomachenko, his last few fights has become more of this offensive
Aggressor.
wizard
Yeah.
and come forward guy, and Rigo's your classic distance defensive guy, looking to counter, looking to make pick you apart. So I think in that type of, like, the way this fight would turn out, like if they were equal in size, right?
Yeah.
That this would probably fare a little bit better for Rigo. But I still think that, this isn't Miguel Mariaga, because one thing that I have noticed with Lomachenko is he's kind of, and people always will say, oh, he's not trying to get hit. But I think Lomachenko has kind of sacrificed some of his defensive skills to put on shows,
Yeah.
to invite his opponents to hit him more, because, he was getting aggressive. And I thought Mariaga landed some good shots his last time out. I think Loma got cut too. I don't remember if it was from a headbutt or for a punch, but Loma, took some punches from Mariaga. It wasn't a complete, it was a complete walkover, but he didn't leave that fight without getting any damage. So I still think that there's that opportunity for Rigondeaux to land some good shots, because, I mean, Rigo can set you up with some nice stuff too.
Yeah.
And if and there's going to be pressure on Lomachenko, because
this is
he's being built up as a star, and this is going to be on ESPN, and people are just expecting him to look spectacular. He is the bigger guy, but these guys, they don't have similar skill levels, but in what they do, they're both kind of on that level, of how good, effective they can be.
And I will say, for all the criticisms about Rigo, how boring he is, this is maybe the type of opponent, with the way Loma's been fighting recently, that will kind of force him out of that pocket and force him to fight, and it's very similar to like Lara and Floyd when they actually let their hands go, which is where really people get mad about, is because when you actually see their offensive skills, you're like, well, why don't you do this shit more often? Because you have fucking incredible hands and you have enough pop where you could really put it on guys. So
yeah, and you can reference back to that Amagasa fight when Rigondeaux fought that Japanese guy.
Yeah.
He fucked him up, man. I think he broke his jaw. Like, he was putting his punches together. He got dropped, So I think he was pushed in that fight. And, in this fight, I think it can be competitive, because.
But for how long?
Small guys.
Let's close it out on a prediction. But for how long can it be competitive?
But for how long? I think it can be competitive the whole fight, because I don't think Lomachenko.
You don't think he can stop him?
Because Rigo is, you're just not gonna fucking land any and everything you want,
But Rigo's been down before. He will be down. He will be down again in this fight.
Yeah, that's true. And that, what also brings up to me is that Lomachenko's just been a lot more active, and he's just fought a lot better competition as of late.
Yeah.
That's the big issue. You know what? Yeah, I kind of think, honestly, I think maybe for the first 6 or 7 rounds, I don't think Loma's going to blow him out. I think it's going to be hard. He's going to have to pick his spots to where he can land without getting too much damage. Because Loma's a boxer too, he's not going to just want to lose rounds, right?
Yeah.
So if
it turns into a test match, he will play a test match, because it's in his skill set. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and he's not going to just fucking lose rounds. He's not conditioned to lose rounds,
Yeah,
so he's going to do what he can.
It's not in his DNA. Yeah, you're right.
So I think Rigo can definitely take some things away, and I think what's going to be the ultimate thing is just like you said, the main advantages, the tail of the tape, the box rec. Just being more active and just
age, size, strength,
his movement. Yeah, the movement of Lomachenko, he turning Rigo around. I think that's going to be very problematic. And I always ask for, when you're fighting a defensive genius or a guy that's very stout on defense, you have to let your hands go, and you have to let it go in a variety of ways. And I think Lomachenko is an expert in doing both of those. So I'm going to pick Lomachenko. I'm going to go by decision. I don't know.
I'll take Loma by swarming. He will swarm him somewhere around the 8th or 9th round.
8th or 9th round?
Yeah.
Is that where you're going?
That's where I'm going.
And
that'll wrap us up. Oh, real quick, because I wanted to add this to after we talk about fights.
Okay.
All right. Rewatchability. So
we have a new segment.
Well, not a segment, just a yes or no. Ali Cotto.
Okay.
Would you recommend watching that again to someone who missed a fight, or would you say, you can skip this one?
No, that fight was definitely rewatchable for sure.
All right, that's a rewatch.
It had there were turns and tides. I mean, there was changes in momentum. Yeah, no drama. You have Melissa Cotto there. Yeah, it was great.
All right, so we'll see if the rewatchability of Loma or Rigo. Hopefully.
I don't know. It might be one of those where you watch the last round. I don't know.
All right,
but anyway, we're done.
We're done. That's all we got. That's all I got. We'll be back. No, we got to talk about this fight afterwards. And David Lemieux has to go set the world right very soon.
He has to do something for boxing.
All right. Thank you for listening.
All right. See you guys later.